Start with a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's go drinking. Any changes?
So, an addition to old business is just the status on the parking problems we had talked about a few meetings ago downtown. And then I wasn't sure, I had made a note from last meeting to add the monument, continuation of the monument discussion to old business, but I haven't really heard much about it. I didn't know if it was necessary to discuss tonight, so I proposed that that could be a deletion.
Yeah, it looks like there's nobody here to discuss it, so.
Okay.
That needs to be something that needs to
Well,
circle around in their group and
Yeah,
get everybody on board.
I'll put it on, I'll keep it on my radar.
Thank you.
Some of the folks might be at the library.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might come over.
Maybe library later.
Cool.
we can swap those.
Okay.
Victor, are you over there?
Introduction. Everybody's good with everybody here? Okay. Approval of the minutes. I didn't see anything that looked out of whack. What do you guys think about the minutes?
I don't know, they look good to me, because I wasn't here.
No,
What company did you choose?
I didn't see any problems with anything. I guess we're the pressure's on you, John.
What's fine with me.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to accept them.
awesome. Second,
I'll second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Nobody pre-requested. Any announcements?
So just one announcement that I gathered from an email that went out recently. This is just for the public. The Meadow East School District is looking for a Pawlet resident interested in being appointed to the board. If you're interested, please submit a letter of interest to the BRSU at info@brsu.org by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, November 19th. You can also mail a letter of interest to the Bennington-Rutland Supervisory Union, which is 6378 Vermont Route 7A in Sunderland.
They haven't changed the rules yet? They haven't changed the rules yet so you can play?
No,
It's not me.
No, I said it's no yet,
Yeah,
but don't you have to, didn't you have to resign?
No.
Oh, they did, that did work out for
That did
you.
work out.
Okay.
Sue Sadlowski is resigning, so her board slot is open until, I think March. I think it's only until March.
Okay.
There has been a change in the language of the law, so now when BRSU collects all of the letters of interest, they have to be presented to you as the select board so that you are allowed to weigh in.
Okay.
The decision is then
Yeah.
ultimately made by the
By
Meadow
them.
board,
But we can,
but you can weigh in.
okay, super.
And then I had forwarded you all that email last week, probably about 7 to 10 days ago or so,
Yeah.
from folks on the school board, just giving everybody the heads up that they were needing to do this too.
As far as I know, according to that letter, she hasn't physically resigned yet, has she?
Her resignation is effective on November 7th, because her new position starts on November 8th.
What's your new position?
She's the executive director for Vermont School Boards Association.
Oh. Cool, good for her. Okay. Any candidates that you know of, or?
I haven't seen anything come in. I won't see anything because I won't have another meeting until.
I was just
we're ready to
curious if you've
decide.
heard of anybody that might be interested. No?
Mike, you go ahead.
Okay.
I think it'd be a good job for Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, you always seem to have all the answers, Frank, so.
I'm allergic to intelligence, and those kids are way ahead of us.
Okay. Is that it for announcements, Kristen?
Yes, that's all.
Good, thank you. Zoning administrator.
I had nothing formally from Jonas. No official report. I don't know if you had.
I met with him last Wednesday, but just on general.
Yeah, I met with him too, and just briefly when I was in after the last meeting, and we had a great conversation, and he just seems to be kind of learning the ropes, struggling a little bit with lack of files and whatnot to be able to go back on, but
No way. Okay.
Where do we stand on computer? You know,
It's been ordered,
it has been.
oh, yeah.
Laptop.
yes.
Good.
So, super. All right, so we'll have to slide on that. Maybe we could just ask him if,
I did let him know that if, traditionally speaking, there was a report,
right,
sent to me every other week before the meetings, and that I did say to him that I thought it would be nice that if he had some time to come to one of the meetings, one of the times in his schedule, just because it would be great for everybody to get to see him and meet him face to face and whatnot. And he said that this week might have been difficult, but I'll check in with him again.
yeah. Even if he could just give us a little heads up of what he's working on, would be great. A few lines.
Yeah, I'll reach out and send a little reminder.
I guess the only thing on the docket is the DRB meeting is 7th, right? Thursday the 7th, so.
6 o'clock. Yeah, he said he told me the other day that he'd be able to be there at 6 o'clock, but he can't go to the earlier ones because he has other meetings in other towns.
Uh-huh.
So apparently, that'd be prearranged. Apparently, they're not going back to the site in question because at 6 o'clock it's black.
I believe it's warned for 4:30.
Yeah,
There is a
right.
site visit, but he's not gonna make it.
6 o'clock is a DRB hearing, right? And the 4:30 or something like that is the
Meeting on site at
site
4:30.
meeting.
Have you been in
But it's a site
contact?
meeting that he can't get
Have you been in contact with Miro?
Yes,
Okay,
and Jones.
okay, so,
And the young, that doesn't need to be seen, they're just gonna meet with the DRB in person.
okay. So that's, do you know of anything else in the zoning administrators?
No, he's supposed to be, I was gonna say this in the next report, but, he is supposed to attend all the planning commission meetings.
Yeah.
He missed the first one,
Uh-huh,
but that's because he was sick.
okay,
He's been sick for a couple of days, so I promised he'd be at next one.
okay. All right, well, you can have the floor anyways.
Okay, nothing much to report other than we have our final summary presentation of our community value from the Mackey project, which is going to be on the 14th, next Thursday, and it'll be upstairs. I have a question of how do we get heat? Is there any heat upstairs?
Yes,
Yes.
there is a thermostat on the left, by the left-hand stage door.
Okay, and how long before?
I think it's only okay, but I haven't had meetings recently that I've been involved in.
You know, anybody that's had night meetings, they know how to set that, or how long it takes to
When is the
warm
meeting?
space
I
up?
could,
It's
14th.
It's next Thursday,
Okay.
the 14th at 7 o'clock.
Usually it stays pretty warm up there.
it isn't bad, it doesn't take
No, last
much.
time I was freezing up there.
Oh, really?
Last time.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forget your
I'll-
on and yours. You have senior everybody here.
That might be able to crank it up before 2 weeks.
Who? Yep, yeah.
Deb leaves at Thursdays at 12:30, so that's probably not a good
Yeah.
idea.
I'll take care of it.
Thank you.
And in December, because of Christmas, we're we're moving our meeting to a week earlier. So we're not during Christmas week.
That's it for you?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanksgiving's pushing here one.
Road foreman.
Oh, well, ongoing, we're getting ready for winter.
Right.
We get a taste of it
Thursday.
every week, so we worked on trucks today, so on and so forth. But what we need is a decision on what we're going to do for sand one way or another.
Okay, so let's just recap right now for sand. We're getting stone product from Wallingford, right?
We've drawn
And
some of that.
You've drawn some of that,
Probably what we need.
okay. And over on the other side, do you have current pricing from,
Plenty of material, yeah.
right, do you have stone pricing for the other side?
Yes.
Were you able to get a reasonable rate?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be $9 for the clean stone, or $8.40 for the shoulder stone, which is considerable. And they wanna sell us the crusher run we've been doing. They dropped that down 45 cents more to $7 even a ton for any we want of that.
For-
It's not what we can use in this application.
Right. But it's
In the
good,
future, that's a consideration for sure, so.
This is from SLC?
From
No.
Or
Deletion.
Galusha, okay.
Is it 3/4?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
the crusher run is a heavy 3/4 minus.
It's a number 2 New York State stone, so it has to fit through a 3/4 inch screen one way.
Yeah,
So it could be more than an inch or even an inch and a half one way, but 3/4 the other. So it's a little bit coarse.
it leaves stone on top of the road, but I think it makes a super road.
Well, I don't know how long-term that is, Mike. It makes a rumbly ride. We've had
Right.
that discussion. I actually contacted Gary to ask him about
Yeah.
how concerned he was, and I talked with Jared and Mark Miller, and,
Yeah.
you know, just to get some feedback, and everybody seems content with it. But
Right.
it's a rumbly ride.
Right. And it appears to be,
Discussion we were having at the beginning of the meeting about the speed on the roads, that rumbly ride might slow them down a little bit. But we're getting sidetracked from our sand, that's
Right.
what we need to focus on now. So I have a full price sheet from Deletion.
okay, so, but we're gonna need a stone product in West Pawlet.
Yes, but only a couple hundred tons over
Right.
there, so, I mean, it's
Right,
not. it's
so
not a lot.
that's not huge.
Not huge.
So now, winter sand, we had Holcomb come in at, how much, $6?
When he was here, he said $6
6, Holcomb was 6. And then, Stanley Martell
is 10,
is 10. And Chat
is 9.
is 9. Okay. In your opinion, what is the best value? I'm gonna throw out the word value, because then we can adjust accordingly between the product that we're getting and the price we're paying.
Stanley's is probably the best material. I mean, it's nice, clean sand. Chet's is good, clean sand, but Stanley's has more of a stone product in it. We probably could have got away with less Wallingford stone if we had known that we were going to buy Stanley's product. And I think the prices reflect the quality of the material right there.
And that's-
10.96.
And that's why I say value, because I know, I talked to Paul Woodruff, and Wells doesn't buy it from Charlie because they have issues with it in their hopper sanders.
That's exactly right. It bridges up in their hopper sand. It would go through Wells.
It would work in our truck.
I mean, other than the Dodge that has the
Right.
hopper sander. We don't run a lot through that anyway, and if we do, it tends to be in West Falls, which would be the sand material we have over there.
Right.
And if you cut it with that stone, it's going to help it to flow better. And nobody I talked to was recommending a complete stone
A
product.
complete stone product. Okay.
They just said you've got to have sand with it so it lays down, gives it some color, you know, it just works better. You
Okay.
can spread it and, so,
In your opinion, what would you feel would be the best direction for us to go?
I don't know. I'm thinking we're looking at purchasing 1,000 yards. We
Right.
have enough material in West Pawlet. If you've seen, when I had the excavator there, I organized everything in
Yeah.
that pile. There's plenty of material there, so we're only talking on the Pawlet side of town.
So we could be as little as $6,000 or as much as $10,000. So you want us to decide
Well, I
which?
don't know, if you wanna buy the $10 a yard material, I'm all for it. I mean, we've been having this discussion for several years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, and that's the perfect time to try the good stuff if you want to, as far as I'm concerned.
Is the money available to spend $10,000 in winter
What's
material?
gonna have to come out of is your processing line item.
Okay.
We've processed nothing, and if
We-
we're not gonna use our material, we have nothing to process, so that's a perfect home for that
Is
money.
$25,000 in the,
40.
what?
40.
40. How much have we, do we have to take some of that right now to balance off the top?
Everything that we've done so far has come out of our materials budget, which is why we haven't paid
Right.
this year, so, which 70,000 of that is gone, so it's.
So we use 70,
He has it right there.
We
The
kept the
materials,
SLC
paving,
bill paid.
we have one more coming in, right?
I don't believe so.
Yes.
One more.
For the stuff that you, the stuff that you just drew, right?
Right,
on the
that's winter
28th,
material.
29th and the 30th, that stuff.
And 10,000 for what you're gonna, 100 ton in West Pawlet from Galusha's at $9 a ton?
Yeah.
So that will come out of the process, and so there's $20,000 between $16,000 and $20,000 right there. Honestly,
So
Go ahead, Tom.
if we're gonna get the sand now to use, we need to go with Martell, don't we? Chet hasn't got any made up ahead, does he?
Neither does Stanley.
but will they,
Where's Wells hauling theirs from today?
They're unloading out from under the conveyor on his screening plant.
so he's screening it basically right into the
So They're
truck?
running one truck, because otherwise he doesn't stay ahead of them. So he said he would make it, but he said he wants to know real soon. Because I think he said Wells had 1,000 more yards to draw or something. And that was whenever we were having the discussion last week. So they might be getting close. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we would get the same product every. He's using a 3/4 screen.
He uses a 3/4 screen?
He will go finer if you want. The
Right.
stuff we drew from Rupert was 3/8,
Right.
that which is finer.
Right. But he's got a 3/4 inch screen for Wells, and that seems to be a nice product in your opinion?
Yep, we would get the same stuff. So you can look at that pile and see what you'd be getting.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty nice stuff.
He showed me,
I was over there, so.
when you can, put some in your hand and open your hand, it just falls apart.
Yeah, right.
The sand that he got from Holcomb remained
Yeah.
a ball.
Pretty much same thing.
That's why I told you, Mike, that
Yeah.
if we're gonna go with Holcomb, we might as well take it right out of our own.
Round pit.
Yeah, yeah.
Eric Town in Granville buys it from
From
Charlie,
yeah.
but he also cuts it with stone.
Yeah.
So he's using it as a blending product
Yeah.
because he can buy it so reasonably.
Right.
I think
I
it's
guess
time to try the good stuff.
I
You guys are on board with that? That
I'd make
sounds,
the motion that we,
order it from
Yeah.
Stanley?
Second
Okay.
that.
Is there any more discussion on that? John, are you on board with that?
Yes.
Okay.
For minutes purposes, can we clarify who we're getting the stone from?
It'll be winter sand
Sorry, that's,
from Cameron Martell in Wells.
2 L's?
In Wells.
Sorry, 2
2
L's.
Two and a
Yes.
half.
Well, yes, 2 L's in Wells.
Absolutely.
2 L's and Martell.
2 L's in Martell's. Okay, and this is the $10
$10 per
per
yard.
yard.
Loaded. Sorry.
Now, I don't know if tonight's the night that I want to make this happen, but come next year, we need to be on this well before, 2 days before we're predicting snow.
Next month, when we're due.
Right.
Would be, almost think that, we look at Jeff. I mean, it's in our town, close by.
Well, he's got a good product, he just doesn't have all the stone in it that Stanley has.
We won't have as much stone.
And you don't, like, Stanley's could change too as he
Right.
works through the bank.
Yeah.
But what he's into right now is pretty hard to beat. It's pure granular.
How much winter sand do we need for the town, both piles?
Well, they used to give us 1,200 yards and tell us to make it go. But in recent history, we've put 12 to 1,500 up in Pawlet and 1,000 in West Pawlet.
So we're at 2,500, but if we
And we
incorporate,
always buffered that based on what was left in the pile from
Mm-hmm.
the previous winter. If we had a hard winter and we were right back into the ramp, we'd put 1,500 yards in Pawlet. But if we've got some buffer there,
right. And if we blend it, and if we keep a stone product, if this stone product seems to be a valuable blend for us on certain occasions to have, 100 ton or something of stone at each pit, that will reduce the amount of sand we'll need also, correct?
yes, but I think you can probably go completely away from that good standards product.
Okay.
If he stays in what he's in right now, it's 50% stone product in his sand.
In his sand right now.
With a 3/4 inch grain, so.
So, but for budgeting purposes, maybe we need to budget 35,000, so we have enough sand and a stone product, so we have both options. Okay.
Right. And if you do that, it leaves you a little leverage because you have some play in your budget when mud season comes and you need a few loads of stone or something like that.
Yeah.
You're spoken for it already. You're not looking where you're gonna find the funding to
Right.
go after.
Okay. All right. So now we did vote. All in favor?
Yeah, you.
Okay, we did that, but I said I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Chuck made the motion and Ed seconded. There was no further discussion.
Right.
Everybody was.
All in favor, yeah. Okay.
And then I've made a note just for myself too. I'm going to add winter sand and stone for next winter to the agenda around budget time.
Julie and I have been looking.
Okay.
Okay,
Just
so,
that
excellent,
We'll keep
yep.
this going, but
Keep-
that way we.
Keep
can-
it
we'll add
stirred
it-
up to the top and it's better.
Yeah. that
And we'll
way-
also, during budget, winter sand and stone at budget time, we also have to have a summer
Yes.
road repair budget of material to do that with too, so.
So, keep that up.
Okay. What other cool stuff you got to tell us about?
Have you heard anything from Frank?
Yeah, I called him again today. He assured me that last Friday he was gonna send a truck over. And now he's assured me that tomorrow a truck is coming over. He's down a service truck and the storm gave him some grief.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But now we're 2 weeks deep, so I'll talk to him again tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
It's back on the road, you realize. It's not parked. They used it today.
I used it today.
Yeah.
Down to Hereford Road.
Well,
Correct.
as far as he knows,
Down the hill.
as far as he knows, it's parked.
But it's, I mean, if we had another day with it, part of the day, we'd be in good shape. Sawmill Road over there really needs some attention, and the rest of them would probably
Right.
keep, so. It's not pouring out like it was.
No.
It's definitely leaking.
and that's all we need to know. And I mean, and I understand this, but I will talk to him again tomorrow. It was the end of the day before I got a chance to talk to him today, so 4:45 actually when I called him. But he assured me that his guy was coming. He said the guy's name, but I don't recognize him.
Yeah, I mean, Raymond is waiting to seal all it over there whenever.
Well, the first conversation said that he did Nortrax with cover trucking. So that was, and that's what I told him the first time. I said, I expect that you'll cover trucking and everything. And I did have a conversation with the salesman that I deal with when we lease the loaders for work. And he knows Craig, and he's going to talk to Craig as a friendly kind of conversation. Because I laid it out on the line to him because, you know, I told him that I was just so incredibly disappointed and shit. And I said, I said, you know how I can get, I said, and I don't want to get that way yet with Craig, because I want this right, but I'm not going to stand for anything less than a full replacement. I says, and no labor, no nothing. And he told me, he said, well, quite honestly, he says, I know Craig for a long time, and I'm sure he'll do all he can. And I said, well, who's up the ladder? And he said, well, the manager for the 2 Nortrax Vermont plants is pretty new. The 2 stores is pretty new, he says, so I don't think you're going to get too far with him. So, I don't,
Is it
I'm-
Nortrax warranty?
I don't know.
It's not a whole lot farther to Clifton Park than it is to Springfield.
Uh-huh.
It's not.
Exactly. So-
I mean,
We're gonna see how this game plays out, but I'm gonna keep badgering him and shit, and we'll see what goes on. Cause if he
there's
starts,
nothing else out there for graders to, you know, unless we go begging from another town or something.
and the guy, David Madison, is a salesman that I deal with in Clifton Park, and he said that he didn't know of any transmission issues with the graders, but he says, quite honestly, I don't sell many graders. He says graders are a lot stronger, John Deere graders are a lot stronger in Vermont than they are over here. So, I don't know who gets the graders, Cat, or is Cat stronger in Washington County in this area? Do you know, Chuck, or what you've seen, or what Dresser still makes one there?
Yeah, that's the old champion grader.
So, I don't know where we stand with that, but I still, that guy I gave you that sells aftermarket parts and stuff, he had a career with John Deere, so he might know somebody and he might not have any problem ponying up. So it's just I have to get a hold of
Yeah, as long
him.
as it's ongoing and developing and we're just not.
We're working on it for, yeah.
I mean, we're gonna be weathered out
Yeah.
anyway, so
So
it's,
I talked to him, like I said, last Thursday, I guess, and
lots of times you get a period in December where you can spot grade and do some things and address some potholes or, you know, do some things, and it would be nice to have it for that. So
yeah,
you know, we're gonna be, probably stay right on getting ready for winter maintenance, because we've got, how we put plow frames on today on Perry's truck, spinner and stuff to get things going. We've got an axle out of Dale's, an axle on the bed chamber of his body, out of Dale's truck right now. I don't know, I'm not anticipating we're gonna get the blizzard of 19 here this weekend. We could see some snow, so. Our job is to be ready, that's what I
Right.
always say, so we'll get ready, be ready to go with that.
anything else hot?
I'm not gonna throw you under the bus, but the bed chain problem with Dale's truck was there, Keith, is my understanding, at the end of March, that issue
The end of the
became.
summer. We sent it up with the salesman and it's up that Viking. It's a matter of going after it or having him bring it down, so. He said he would have it here this week, so.
Okay. What is it, the front?
The axle twisted off outside of the gearbox, the drive shaft.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
But now's the time when you may need it. And we're gonna have 2 trucks instead of 3.
So,
The International and the Mac. Perry's. And I also understand with Perry, there's a hydraulic cylinder that
On his
needs to
wing
be
post,
addressed.
yeah,
What's that?
on his wing post.
would you have that repaired at Viking too, or
No, we probably will take care of that.
just,
here.
just put a packing kit in that yourself? Okay. Is there anything else that you have on?
Nope, we've got some other tires we've got to buy and get changed around. The casings are up there, getting tracked as quick as they're done. The other knackers are up and
Get
have
one.
them installed.
Should be in good shape. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Keith?
No, I chewed on it enough.
Those things with the dumpster.
It's still there.
Who's supposed to dump it? Do we know?
I know, I asked him in April, so it's still sitting there full.
Who does it belong to?
I don't know.
So we don't,
We got it for Green Up Day. And then after Green Up Day, we called and called and called, and they didn't even know it existed. So it sat there, and then it became an attractive nuisance, and people started using it. So it's got mattresses and electronics and stuff in it now.
And overflowing.
ain't overflowing, great. So do we know who it came from, or?
It came from Ace.
See there on
It came
the-
from Ace. So it would be part of, what do they call it, county waste now or something? Is it a roll-off or what? How big is it?
15 yards probably.
20, I think.
Give it to Clarence. He'd probably dump it for the body.
Who's Clarence?
Clarence Ritchie.
Oh, I don't know. I spoke with Noel Brido back at Matt Wade's auction.
Yeah.
He said he thought he could dump it.
So that would be sweet if he could, and we could store it somewhere.
I know Clarence would run it over and dump it for, if we just called him. Where is it? Right there at the
Right at the town garage.
town garage?
Yeah, but you're gonna get a bill from Clarence when he dumps it.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get built.
You're gonna get a disposal bill from
Yeah.
whoever dumps.
From whoever
No
dumps it.
question.
Clarence is gonna charge you $300 or probably, and $100 and some dollars a ton, because that's what the Vermont state price is. So he either has to go, yeah, because he's, by law, he has to take it to a Vermont state site. So,
Oh, he does?
so he told me. He's not supposed to be able to take stuff to, over to Ace. Because it's only 100, it's only like 90 or 100 at Ace. But it's, you have to go to East Dorset, I think is what he told me. So he charges 110 or something like that, I think is what they charge down there. That's what he told me when I just had this last dumpster. Careful, he's gonna hit his head on the water cooler. Snap out of it, Frank. Wow. So, if we call Ace again and tell him, I don't know, just tell him he probably should be removed, because then it'll just get filled full of crap again, right?
Or hidden.
Hidden somewhere so we could.
So, if we want it just dumped and lugged back, then probably Clarence would be the guy to do that.
You could start internal town dumpster rental. and
Did
get
you
a
go-
little revenue.
The pull-off, top button-up bend. What did I see sitting in that yard this morning?
It looks like a bathtub with jets in it, or a sauna or something. But I don't, that's there with a for sale sign on it or something. It's not, it's set up and propped up like somebody's trying to get rid of it. I don't know. Yeah, it has been a couple
So-
months.
Somebody-
We need to decide what we're gonna do with this dumpster, cause we really shouldn't have just a dumpster there like that. Do we hire somebody to dump it? Do you want me to call Clarence and see if he'd dump it, or? I mean, it's probably gonna be $600-800, but we can't.
I would think, A should be made to, it's their box, have them come.
Well,
Well, he's
He's
a
Been down that road.
There-
I'd call Clarence and.
yeah,
and
we could keep the
it.
dumpster.
Yes, and put it somewhere where we can use it.
Right, because, I mean, if Ace comes and do it, they're gonna whack us.
Yeah.
The same money.
And we lose it, so, yeah,
They're gonna come pull it and charge us.
yeah.
It's, the garbage business is extremely expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have, call Clarence or whatever.
I'll call him and talk to him about it one day this week and get his take on it, see what he says. See if he's up to it or not. So we're good then, other than that, everybody's good with Keith? John, do you have anything for Keith, or?
I'm okay.
Okay, great. The assessor's report, would you mind reading it? You do such a great job.
I asked if you were gonna maybe ask me that. I'd be
Just
delighted
the big
to.
words that's wrong.
Yeah,
So Assessor's Office report to the Pawlet Select Board, November 5th, 2019. Mapping. We have been working with cartographics to work out the problems with updating our GIS mapping from this office. We did a remote session with cartographics on Wednesday, October 23rd, where they determined that there were problems with the data processor that they previously installed. The updated data processor was installed via remote session on Monday, October 28th. Along with another remote session with cartographics on Monday, November 4th, we have begun correcting mapping errors that we are aware of. We are now able to use our software to make these mapping changes on our own. The Pawlet portion of the statewide GIS mapping program has been completed. We have reviewed it and sent notes regarding parcels that are missing information. By comparing the parcel information for the state mapping with our GIS mapping, we have discovered a number of other discrepancies that we will be working to correct here and that cartographics will be working to correct on their end. We encourage the Select Board and all of their departments to make us aware of any mapping errors that they notice in the course of their work so that we can correct those as well. We are making the correction of mapping errors our priority for the fall so that we will be able to move forward with entering PTTRs into our software with confidence that the information will translate to the GIS map accurately. Current use. 3 change of assessment notifications were mailed on October 23rd due to changes to current use maps and applications. We have received our current use files from the state, which are now 100% certified. Assessor office hours. The office will be closed on November 11th. Lisa's scheduled office hours for November are Monday the 4th and Monday the 18th. Karen will also be in the office on the 25th and as necessary to keep current with the office work.
thank you. Any questions on the assessors? Okay, town clerk's memo. A letter to the board.
So
Do you have
there's a letter to address to the select board with information. Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
Just says, please read the attached information and know that the person who owns Slate Ridge, Daniel Bonnier, 541 Briar Hill Road, West Pawlet, Vermont, 05775, has pled guilty to a Class D felony charge. He was charged with 2 separate felony counts. Many of you follow him or are bullied by Daniel Bonnier. The provided and attached, you can also find this for yourself at iapps.courts.ny.us/. Follow the e-track under e-courts. You don't need a login, just look to the left and click web criminal and look up Daniel Bonnier under the defendant name category. Follow information from there to see everything that is in this packet. This is all public information. Everyone should be aware Daniel Bonnier is in and around your community, and children for your own safety. It was not signed.
Signed or anything.
And I had not leafed through the attached packet, but
Okay.
it's attached in
There was
this.
no return address.
No return address, and it was not signed. So,
Okay.
an anonymous letter.
What is the crux of the issue? Is the felony was,
It's not
Is it in the
discussed, it's not a
paperwork there?
public. I don't know, it's public, you can visit the website. I suppose, if you would like to learn more, but
Yeah.
I don't think that was all from that letter.
Okay. From Assessor's Office, a report, we've got that. Information from the 2020 census. They're looking for census takers. Okay.
If anybody's interested in taking the census, there are some nifty handouts here. You'll find.
Awesome.
Can you recruit?
I will leave them over. I don't want to get them in the way of, is that an appropriate place to leave them over on the tables? There's also this thank you letter from the American Red Cross for our town's donation. They're very grateful. Dear friends in Pawlet, thank you for your generous donation to the American Red Cross. It is because of gifts like yours that help us to fulfill our mission. We are most appreciative.
Excellent, thank you. Town clerk's office is closed tomorrow. I have a meeting to attend in Barry and will not make it back. Julie and I opened up the office for 10/26 to participate in the library Halloween parade and festivities. The turnout for this event was unprecedented, with more children and adults than had previously attended. Good?
It was adorable.
Great.
There was like 20 plus kids.
Super.
Yeah, really cute.
Excellent. Have a good evening.
So she's closed tomorrow as well as today?
She wrote that yesterday. I think maybe she was confused because her sign only said that she was closed on 11/5 and she said that she'd see me Wednesday, so.
And Sue can't cover it.
Sue was unavailable.
Yeah, okay.
Sue was
Yeah,
tied up at the hospital, they
Yeah.
showed it there.
yeah.
Okay. Town treasurers, 2 warrants to be signed. Has everyone looked at them? I gave you 10 minutes.
She wrote a lot of checks.
Oh, yeah, a lot of checks to sign. 52?
The most
Holy
important
smokes.
ones, too.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And the barn ain't even open tonight to go squander it. Jeez.
Well, you'll have to come back over to this side of town.
Yeah, oh my God.
I think I accidentally left one in here that I should.
That one there, yeah, that's last week's. I haven't signed anything
Got
yet.
some money on Schindler this year.
That's last year. That's last week.
Our friend needs to.
I already signed it.
All right, well, what? Okay,
Figure out where we
that's,
got.
that's what.
Oh, he never came
He
in,
called and then he didn't come up. So,
because he called me
That was
when I
last.
was at work, and he's like, well, what do you think I should do? And I was like, well, I don't know. So I texted him your number, set you 2 up. Well, we'll get him next
we
time.
will.
We contacted her again, and she's still in her bathroom. No, it's not us. It's not us. It's not me, it's you.
$52 checks, 19 payroll, 33 payable. Perfect. Heard from the FEMA grant contact person that she received the updated documents. Okay, so that's all in process, the FEMA stuff.
Yeah, I'm just becoming the squeaky wheel.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm very good at that.
Well, it seems to be the only way you can get results on anything
Yeah, 'cause
anywhere.
I emailed her, because Julie had asked me about it, and I had emailed her, what, a month ago, 5 weeks ago now? Yeah, you get there.
That was
need three of us, that was last week.
That was last
I
week.
might have, I think
You
I
need
have last
three-
week's in
three-
there.
You need three signatures?
I don't need anything
Oh,
on
okay.
last week's, I just didn't,
Okay,
I had them out because I had an issue and I forgot to put them away.
okay.
My bad.
I thought maybe you need another signature.
No, we're fine.
Do you know this one?
Okay. John
Make a
gets,
mo- or-
John gets out on top of it. It's the new computer for the new computer for the zoning has been ordered, that's all in process. And then that will just have to go get set up from
Yeah,
John.
it was about $880.
Yeah.
And it came with 3 years of the warranty, and then we would need to, if we don't have an extra license for office, we'll need to purchase that.
Okay. Perfect.
John seemed to be under the understanding.
That we had an
That we do.
extra. Yeah,
You
but
think-
then he emailed me that that we would just purchase it. It's gonna still be in the $1,000 price range.
Yeah. so it's- And then he'll get everything all up and running, so it's good to go.
I wonder if the same idea for this laptop, it's backing up the files, would be
That would be an excellent
a
idea.
benefit.
Yeah.
So maybe if there's an extra flash drive or something floating around
They're-
the
they're pretty-
office, we could make sure.
They're pretty
that-
cheap to buy anyways
Yeah.
for that, so. We just make sure that he has one so that when he gets done, he can download it and you got it all going on. Okay. Current use hold harmless payment in the amount of $110,476 has come in, okay? Happy to report that after contacting our bank, I was able to get increased interest rates. Oh, really? Squeaky wheel again.
Yep.
Excellent, excellent.
Because they just crashed since the Fed changed last week.
Okay. Homework for board and department heads has just been issued. Oh, great. Cleanfill, okay. Who is that? Buzz Cirillo? Buzz Cirillo?
Could be,
I think he was the last guy that we talked to about it. I'll try and see if I can find stuff hidden away in my computer. Okay.
Just in thinking about banking, we have a lot of bank accounts, and we would earn better interest if we had less bank accounts. So that's one that we have to maintain as is until we no longer have to do monitoring.
Mhm. Yeah, and we were right on the edge of going to custodial, but they found something in one of the monitors and we needed to let it ride a little bit more. I'll ask him.
And that's
anybody
been,
been there and done water samples?
I doubt it. I don't think anything's happened. That's probably 3 years or more.
that's been 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
I think, between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Because that was come up just after I got on.
just after you got
So I
on,
think,
yeah.
so that's,
I'll dig in my emails. I know that I got an old email from Buzz Cirillo living in the depths of my computer at work, so.
Yeah, because I believe the way that worked, you had to petition them to cease it.
Yeah.
And then they reviewed it, and
Yeah.
then you said they found something and suggested.
Yeah, and it was kind of a,
I do not think anybody has even been in there and taken water samples. What, have you been paying to have them analyzed? Then nobody's taking them.
I haven't heard anything, well, as far as I know, didn't, Green Mountain was doing all that maintenance and
I
stuff.
think that was doing writing the reports.
it sounded to me like they just want to keep their paws on that, but that's,
Yeah,
It had been that if you had, I think it was 7 years or 10 years, with certain term limit. And then after that, if you had no red flags flown, then you could petition to have it done away with.
I think he told us then it goes into a custodial type state or some kind of, that was the word, but then there's all that money in there that can be dispersed, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the proper channels for that money to come back in?
It's designated as landfill, so I guess, my opinion, it should go to the voters to decide where it went to. But it'd probably be up to you guys to decide a plan for it and propose it to them.
Right. Whether we buy down taxes or put it to a new garage.
Put it toward the garage.
But it's a sewer district.
Okay.
A kitty for the garage.
We just need a motion for the warrant still.
Oh, right.
Oh, I'll make a motion to accept the warrants.
I'll second.
Chuck? Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And that's it. Thank you, Julie. And
So
this
I
is,
did, I left you guys with
Yeah, good.
homework. Would you like, and I've contacted all of the department heads to ask them to come up with something for the next meeting for proposals to their portion of the budget. I don't know if you would like me to come to the next, if you would like me to email you ahead of time with some things filled in, or if you want to come to the next meeting with some things filled in on your own, or how you want to proceed.
in the past, it's worked out pretty good that we've all sat together and just went down and we kind of made our comments and you would fill the slash in. That worked pretty good for me. What do you guys think? Do you like that? We can kind of look it over quick and see if there's anything that stands out to us and then kind of sit. Are you okay with that, John, or?
We had a special meeting last time. Was that
I think, yeah, that's right. That was.
worked fine with me?
It's much better that way, where we don't, we don't have the input of outside source at that particular time, so.
And it's all done.
Okay.
Pretty much.
So
So-
when would we be thinking about that?
Well, if you're planning on anything on the, what is that date, 19th for the next meeting? I won't be in attendance. I'll be
Okay.
out of town.
So it would be one of the other, what we did, I think, the last time is we picked an off Tuesday and did it. And just came in on an off Tuesday, just for that particular reason. Without,
So, 25th.
the 25th is the 26th,
No,
actually.
26th.
That's the
And
week.
that we just sort of fill things in and then we move on and it's
We
not
talk
adopted.
about this.
Yeah,
And what we would do is we'd sit down and we'd just go each line, selectmen, And
Okay.
and then just go down each line and then we see things that, that didn't jive and say, well, this is because of this or this is because of that, or then we can see things that we know we can anticipate that are gonna have to be altered,
okay.
so.
So you're gonna warn that? Open meeting?
Yeah, it'll be warned as a public meeting with no public input. '26, is that a reasonable day that everybody's happy with? You guys all happy with that? Go ahead, somebody say yeah.
I might not be able to make it if
Okay.
I'm needed. If there's, that's Thanksgiving week, and
Yeah.
I might be not,
Stuff in the turkey.
yeah, I might be celebrating early, not
Good.
here. I don't know yet,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
but don't dance around me for this, obviously.
Yeah, I think we can pretty much roll through
I
it
also might be here, so.
without, without a lot of minutes to be taken because it'll just be strictly this, for this purpose. So, are you all right with that, John?
Yes.
That's, okay. All right, then, let's do that. You're good with it then, that week of Thanksgiving, okay. Frank?
You already made the motion, so I was wondering if you could just extend the regular meeting, like the next meeting, you got a lot of the sand and road stuff out of the way.
No.
No.
It turns into way too long. We've tried that and it just never seems to work. This way we come into a meeting that our focus is strictly on the budget, we go in and do what we gotta do and then go home. That's what I found through time. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree or, but I think it seems to work best.
Okay. So all
Thank
you
you.
want from me is to have prepared sheets like this and
Yeah.
with status,
Yeah.
budget status
Yeah,
for this
and-
year, and we'll be ready.
In the past, we've, you know, we look through this stuff and kind of, you know, as we're running through it, it all kind of pops up and like, oh yeah, this year was bad because of this or this, and do we need to jump it up, or was that just a rarity or whatever, so.
And I did ask everyone to have something for the 19th, so that's excellent, because I'll have it by the 19th for the 26th.
Good. And then we can compile it all on that. Super. Excellent. Thank you. And that's it for your, so far, right?
Oh, I did put, I did some homework on the
Oh.
health insurance.
Right.
So that, the sheet that's sticking out there
Mhm.
is an Excel spreadsheet that I made with some comparing the Pawlet plans. I did want to, I want to contact the Blue Cross Blue Shield and MVP again, because I'm kind of confused about what some things mean.
Okay.
But there are plans that are comparable in price to what we're currently paying that are pretty similar. I don't know if anyone has a big issue with Blue Cross Blue Shield versus MVP, or if they're saying same. I haven't heard anything bad about either one of them.
Okay. So this right here is gonna have an effect when we get at budget time.
That's gonna have an impact because starting January 1st, the premiums are increasing
Okay.
by 15%.
How much?
15.
Yikes. Okay.
That sounds like our retirement. Medicare.
You guys wanna look that over, and then probably if we do that at the budget meeting, that will be plenty of time to pull that off, you think, or?
We don't have to make a decision until December.
Okay, so we can kind of go over this a little bit more at the budget meeting, a little bit more in depth and.
Figure out how to save us money.
Alright.
Yeah. Don't sign it.
So now, any more questions for us? No questions for you? You're gonna stay till, okay, perfect. Thank you for joining us tonight, Jonas.
Certainly.
That's absolutely fine. We waited for you. Okay, so, does everybody in the room know Jonas? He's our new zoning administrator interim. Right? Oh, I don't mind saying that for the next 10 years, no problem.
I've never seen him before in my
Okay.
life.
So, what do you have to share with us tonight? Do you have any formal report or anything, or?
I have some stuff in the office, I forgot to bring my key, but I pulled some stuff off the board.
Yeah, everybody's got keys.
So I think we've only had one new permit since the last time, 42, I think. Let's see, we have 2 hearings Thursday night. I don't think I'll make the one at 4:30 and 5 o'clock. I'll be in Montpelier, but I should be back for the 6 o'clock. So my question was, is there a minute taker or note taker? I mean, I've written decisions on findings of fact.
Mayoral is going around to be honest.
Okay, is she coming?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay, yeah,
Because I-
perfect.
Oh, good, because my last conversation with her was that she was not able to make, but I'm glad she is going to be.
Okay.
So, let's see, so I don't know the status of the computer. Julie ordered it, the new computer. I'm still have not communicated with Hal's administrative assistant who has the computer, with all the computer files, the zoning files. So it's still important that we try to secure that. Yes, it's Tuesday. So yesterday I attended a workshop in Montpelier. It was sponsored by the Agency of Commerce Community Development. They are providing, they're looking at 6 communities to, I would say, they've been, these communities are been selected by the agency to work with a consultant for what they call zoning for great neighborhoods. And they're looking at improving and simplifying zoning bylaws to help communities, let's say, reduce or increase densities where municipal services are provided, like water, sewer. So that may not have much application for Pawlet, maybe West Pawlet, but that would encompass all the zoning districts. So in any event, in probably about 2 months, the agency will be providing the recommendations from that workshop that we attended. So I attended on behalf of Castleton, but there are some benefits to that workshop for all communities, actually. So I'll share with whatever I get back with the planning commission. So that's pretty much it, I think.
Okay. Frank?
In the last planning commission, it came up, we were looking at West Pawlet and Calais, or Calais, depending on if you're from Maine or not, spelling, has different overlay districts. And we were looking at West Pawlet potentially, and Harry wanted me to dig up some information, but Jonas might know this more, or Tom, if you really get in Rutland, is how to enact an overlay district relative to the density issue of the sewage district users only would be the overlay, and be able to, because there's an interest in potentially increasing the density there in a sophisticated and proper way so that it encourages additional users on the sewage district, which is going the other way to incur more revenues and to develop West Pawlet accordingly, because we can't develop north and south of town because the land trust properties is pretty much a limited district. But if this town did a historic overlay and a different kind of overlays over the existing bylaws that apply to the land in that overlay, just define a little more clearly what exceptions might be in that district, or what other possibilities might be in that district versus the other districts.
So you're working on that for the planning commission, and you're going to have...
Jonas had any information.
He pulled some information out for us, and he
Right.
brought it to our last meeting, but this is something we can take up further at the next planning commission meeting.
Okay.
Because I like Jonas's input, he wasn't able to make the last meeting.
Okay, super. Thank you, guys. Does anybody have any other questions for Jonas? No?
Thank you.
Other than thank you for helping us with this, and every time you go to one of those meetings, keep your eye out for somebody.
I didn't see anybody from Pawlet.
No, keep your eye out for somebody that,
Oh,
if you want to get out of this job, you gotta find somebody to take your place.
He also suggested, we put in advertisements in our usual venues. He suggested the Rutland Regional, Rutland, what do they call it? Rutland Herald?
The Rutland Herald.
As maybe giving us a better range.
I mean, we got 0 so far, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
we've gotten zero applicants so far, so we need to do something different.
Maybe Manchester Journal too.
So who does that? Does Deb take care of that, or?
For Kristen?
Additionally, yeah, as far as I mean, I've
Because
never
that's
done
not
it
her
in the past.
usual venue to go to.
technically it's I don't know if it's technically her job or not.
We can
Depends.
talk tomorrow about it.
If
I
you-
mean, every time I've gone to do it,
Yeah,
she's done it, I don't know if
She's
that's
been more
because
than-
she's
okay.
wanted to, or because she's felt, whatever,
Okay.
but we can
Okay,
talk.
thank you.
It's, there are a few conflicts with my time, but, because you guys, Keith, and yourself, Bill, have asked, and I, other Pawlet, other Keith.
They're close by.
No, I honestly really want you to stay for a while as long as it works for you, but I know that
Don't
we
feel
need.
pressure, I'm just saying, just take your time and do whatever you feel. is
Right. Right,
It'll
good.
be a slow
Thank
spell
you.
here, I think.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
It'll be a slow spell here for development between now and spring, and then
Yeah.
make it busy again, so,
Right.
I don't think your office is gonna be too busy through the winter.
Right,
Traditionally, it's not.
And it hasn't been so far, so.
no. So good, thank you. Thank you for coming down tonight. We were talking about that you don't need to come to all the meetings, but if you can just send a little brief synopsis of what's going on, yeah, it's a major plus in that everybody's up to speed.
Okay.
But, there's not a lot of details either. You don't have to say who's doing what or something. He was just saying about, we used to get just like
I'll send you an email with with an example.
a copy of one.
Yes. Just,
I think,
any permits or, basically what you did tonight.
okay, right.
Okay. Emergency management and health. You got them?
Yeah. So, the monthly report for October for the Emergency Management Director, Cat 4 exercise conference call on October 2nd and 9th. Exercise opening, EOC, Morlino, Lupke, and Gibson on October 9th. Morlino, Lupke, and Gibson participated in the Cat 4 exercise for the town of Pawlet. The emergency management team opened the Emergency Operations Center at the Meadowy School for 3 hours and exercised the town's emergency road closures and a test of the VT alert system. Special thanks to Fire Chiefs Ricard and Weiss, as well as Keith Mason for participating on October 23rd. Morlino participated in the EMD roundtable at the RRPC on October 30th. Replaced the 2 marine batteries in the town's radio repeater at the gravel pit, thanks to Keith Mason for obtaining the batteries. Leon Corey has joined the emergency management team this month. Very cool. We will be working with Leon to bring him up to speed on what we do and set up a training program. Very cool was not in the report. Sorry, I interjected
I lived that one.
That was bad.
Somehow I just didn't see Bob saying very cool, but
Sorry.
it's all good.
It's just me adding in my own thoughts. And health officer for October 2019 completed rental housing code inspection on a rental on October 11th. Chaired a Town of Pawlet Board of Health meeting on October 8th, resulting in a health order being issued to a landlord.
Okay,
And that's all.
we're good. Okay.
And then for
Wastewater.
I was just going to, I had gotten that email from you about Jill Marsano
Okay.
from VTEM submitted the West Pawlet phosphorus optimization plan, which I like to refer to as POP, with help of Elizabeth Walker of Vermont Rural Water.
Okay. I've been going back and forth a little bit. I've been communicating with her to get you tied into the loop, and I sent her one of the old reports from Jeff.
Okay.
So she did a test and said, if you like it, that's what we'll do, and I'll work it over and send it to Kristen.
Okay.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Okay, I was gonna say, I never got it,
Okay.
that I'm aware of, unless it
Okay, so
landed itself in some
please,
folder.
please review the update and September reports and let me know if it looks okay. I'll need a few days to complete the October month-end reports for the state. They are due the 15th. So maybe we'll get a monthly report in the middle of the month, which would actually be fine after that. Once I know this works, I'll send your select board assistant as well. Okay. What do I gotta find here? Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Somehow I can't find it. I was, okay, that got boxed.
Lost and can't be found.
Well, I'm not smart enough to find it, it's a problem. That's to me.
Sure you are.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, not with that attitude, I'm not gonna get it up, I know. I got quotes from her, she wants to do a plug. They have a quote to redo some repiping in there to get that, so that the drains go into one corner. And it's just a few $100s in pipe and a plug and stuff like that. Oh, I can't find the attachment.
Is monthly report you're looking for? Mike?
Yeah, she sent one to me, and I liked it.
October's wouldn't be due until the 10th of November, but she may not, 10th of the following month is when it's due.
Here it is.
So she may not, okay.
Well, no, I was not smart enough to drive my phone. It's got some arrows that I weren't sure that I had to push.
Right on the cutting edge of technology.
Yeah, that's right. Here we go. Yeah, ooh.
Can't wait till we all get iPads.
Okay.
I'll just send it to the children.
Okay. Good thing is it.
The children will be tech support, but children.
In addition to performing. Yeah, but it's a little bit bigger. That's a bonus. In addition to performing and compliance monitoring, preventative maintenance, the following list of highlights events for the period above. VTUMs overlapped with EN for a few days in August, and as the contract was changed over. VTUMs replaced the pump and float and clarifier one that was not working a second time, extended the line, and moved the pump back into the bucket to allow float to rise without hitting the rails or bucket. Ian completed the monthly monitoring reports for the month of August, and VTUMs completed the monthly monitoring reports and quarterly reports for the month of September. Drained and cleaned clarifiers several times each week as the solids accumulation is high and requires frequent cleaning. Purchase and set up 2-day tanks for polymer, one for each train, so the polymer can be measured precisely each day. Added hose links to grease fittings on RBCs so they could be reached from the floor. Had A1 unclog a pump at Spruce Gum Station. It went down again 2 days later. They have left to return to repair one non-functioning pump at each station. Oh, they also have, okay, they're coming back to do that. Made a few spare sets of keys for the basement tank hatches, ordered UV bulbs and sleeves from Sunray, finished replacing bulbs in all bays. 9:30, acquired the power downtime letter from GMP and submitted an updated emergency power outage plan to Shea Miller at the state of Vermont per the MPDES permit. Once in September, once in October, received E. coli counts over permit, but under the limit that reporting is required. Spoke with Shea Miller about both and the likely need for separate sludge holding. A staple gun and grade stakes were purchased along with signs printed per Shea's request should we have an E. coli count over 270 and ever need to post the river. Ordered 4 drums of polymer from Holland Company. Had A1 pump out the sludge from all 4 tanks over the 2 visits in September and October for a total of 8,000 per tank times 4 tanks, 32,000 gallons of sludge removed from the facility. Observed that the one left train closest to the road or tanks of the facility are offline by the way of the slide gate being lowered. Considered the use of the basement tankage with slightly additional changes to have true separate sludge holding along with a few piping modifications. 1023 TMDE Calibration Labs Incorporated performed the required annual laboratory equipment calibrations 4 months early as they did not wish to travel from Maine in the winter and supposed to prorate the bills as it's only been 8 months since the last annual calibration. Met with Elizabeth Walker 3 times to go over the phosphorus optimization plan and reviewed submitted the final plan on 2018-2019 to Shay Miller with Elizabeth's assistance, increased the number of air cycles on the aeration tank from 1 to 4 cycles per day, decreased the DO count on the RBCs. On 10/25, hosted a visit from the state of Vermont with 4 DEC employees wanting to see the RBC package plant, as it's the only one in the state and they want to know how it operates before they approve its uses in other locations. They stayed for less than an hour and were thankful for the time and tour. Additional large sludge judge sections were ordered from the USA Blue Book to allow the operators to measure the sludge depths in the front tanks. The 2 links we have are not long enough to reach the bottom of the tanks in the front of the building, only in the back. Met with Paul Clifford from FW Web to get pricing on additional piping needed to add a line from the drain of Clarifier 2 to Clarifier 1 to be able to drop sludge in the front tank and not activate the active influent septic tank. Need to get approval from client and the state to proceed with this. One more modification for temporary sludge holding. If you have any questions, please call. And I told her that it seemed like the appropriate thing to do. It was only a few $100 in piping, and I said, go ahead, try it. We got, it seems like, yeah, it's been a common denominator that the sludge that we're sucking off those clarifiers are trying to get mixed back into the influent and just causing compounding issues down the line.
The polymer added to it is
Right.
being fed back into the head of the system too.
Right. So it's that compound, the polymer compounded the issue. So we gotta try something. The only thing we may have to do is to de-water the sludge so we don't end up paying for extra water, right?
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I thought the capability was there to do that, to reroute that already just through valves, but I think it's all plumbed if you turn valves and open other valves. I think their additional plumbing is underneath, right? Where it's returning to, she's gonna put it in a corner or something rather than, because that's fully equalized under that. Like, there's vents from tank to tank, so she wants to plug that tank off and use one for just sludge settling.
Right, yeah. And that's what she needs, like $300 some worth of pipes and a special plug and stuff like that, so. Seemed like it was worth trying. It's for not very much money, we gotta do something different because we're still struggling to make it work the way it should, so that's the story, and hopefully you'll be on the list. It comes with all the rest of the reports to the state and stuff like that. So I hadn't heard anything from her since the end of last week. But even if she doesn't do it till after the middle of the month when the reports, that's fine. So any other questions other than that? We really haven't heard much going on down there. She had reached out to you at all for anything or not? So
No, I just actually made that comment the other day that I must be going good because I hadn't heard anything.
yeah,
No news, good news.
yep. So no, that seems to be it. So well, good. All right. Old or unfinished business?
So we can either start talking about the policy or talk about the status of parking issues first, which would be my recommendation.
Let's talk about the status of the parking issues.
Good idea.
Does any,
So it was requested that it was discussed on the agenda or added back to the agenda. So last we had talked about it, last I had heard was that Bob Morlino had he had happened to run into somebody on a state level who, after hearing about it, from what I had heard, was that the state, since they had been told about it, was then obligated to address it. Again, hearsay, I had heard that a letter had been written to the possible properties that were potentially blocking parking on Route 30, and that is the last that I heard. The other item that I had talked about the last time it was brought up in the meeting was that, according to Bob, he had been told from a state level that if the select board was entitled to request that our town's constable enforce parking issues as well. And that if requested, I think Dave said that he would be happy to help. But again, this is just, I've not followed up since. Those were just what I had been told through passing conversation. So I'm not sure, I haven't noticed as many folks parking outside of McChesney's as I've driven by, so I don't, I know
I
that's.
have rehab with him Mondays and Fridays, and I clearly see that he's parking on his lawn.
That it's
He's
moved
no longer
on
parking
the road,
on
it's
the edge
in
of
Mark.
Route 30.
Yeah,
They filled in the ditch there.
yeah. So,
It still blocks the view.
What's that?
He still blocks the view, even if he's on the lawn, it still blocks your vision up Route 30.
Well,
I drive in every day.
Suggest he were to park.
What's that?
in the.
Where were you to suggest that he parks?
On the
There-
School Street side.
On School Street.
On
Should be-
School
should
Street
be on
side.
School Street.
Down below.
Can't park on School Street.
Well, they have to
Below the
drive down it.
monument, there's no parking signs.
Part of that parking lot is his,
Yeah,
or he has dedicated.
Yes.
there's that driveway part that goes up to the barn that had been used for meadowy makers that people would park in all the time. You know,
if he's parking on the lawn, would he need a curb cut permit to access that? Or if it's,
The right of way in that intersection is probably far reaching enough, so there is no lawn there if it's needed for something else between the two streets. And I guess there's probably easements there for the bridge and everything else. I bet it's a 4-rod right of way down there clearly there, and 3 rods for School Street. So it doesn't leave, it's like the freight building in
Yeah,
West
West
Pawlet.
Pawlet.
It doesn't leave anything left. But, yeah, it would be a Route 30 curb cut, not 10 Pawlet.
but if he was trying to make that a parking,
If he's gonna make it an entrance and egress, he would
Yeah.
have to have
he would have to have a legal curb cut.
beyond what's pre-existing.
Right, in a different location from the pre-existing. Okay.
If he were to create a parking space in front of his door, that's well off the road,
Yeah,
it maintains a clear view. Up to 30, would that be acceptable?
honestly,
Probably not.
I don't,
Probably not for what.
Probably not. If you're gonna,
It's a commercial property, right?
that's right.
So it could have a parking lot.
So Lee's car, you have to understand, Lee has a little bit of a mobility issue. So he probably wants
So
to
is
park.
everybody that gets run into when they get hit coming in and out of there,
All right.
regardless of their age?
Okay, so, end of my conversation. I'm not gonna get anywhere, so I'm not gonna say anything. All I will say is that our Rutland County Sheriff has been in our town and stopped a lot of people. And apparently he's given them warnings at this time. The next time, my guess is he probably won't be giving warnings.
From speeding.
And,
Who hired,
You're speeding?
who hired?
well,
the
I'm
sheriff?
guessing it's
I don't-
probably your contact in Vermont contacted.
But I mean, did the
No.
state police hire, it was on Route 30, it wasn't on a town road.
It was
Isn't it normally with towns?
It was in-
that either hire the
It was in
state
the
police?
churchyard. It was in Gibby's pull-off that he just made. And he stopped an individual for not using the turn signal.
There was a
He
ticket
stopped-
issued on one.
he stopped some other people for speed. As far as I know, all those people got warnings.
I don't have a problem with that. About time somebody clamped down on
But I'm just wondering,
Right.
who,
Right, who authorizes
it.
it?
Who authorized, yeah.
What are the sheriffs, are the sheriffs only supposed to work in the towns that they have contracts in?
this is what I'm trying to understand.
I don't know
I'm not
anything
I
about
think
that.
they have jurisdiction, but they get hired by town.
John?
Years ago, we went through this, and I think the townspeople, for the most part, didn't want this happening. The sheriff's department at that time solicited towns and say, we'll give you a free month of, service.
Yeah,
And then if you think you're making enough money, which, it's a moneymaker.
right.
And the town, like Bridgewater or Ira, where there's always a sheriff, they hire them, and they probably, I don't know, back then it was $25 an hour for a sheriff, probably now it's 50. But they've been given more than warnings, Chucky. Friend of mine who's a cleaning lady and just trying to keep her head above water like everybody else, a working person, who has to drive to Dorset and Manchester every day, was doing 6 miles or 7 miles an hour over. She came from 50 down to 40 and didn't slow down fast enough. And it's a $110 fine. So, I mean, we have a town that doesn't even enforce their own bylaws. So why do we need a sheriff? And that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. Did we hire them? Because I don't think that's fair for people who travel Route 30 to have to be.
There was nothing from the board that invited them to come down or paid them, so.
Okay, but, I mean, to me, that's a cheap way to make money. And that's all it is it's taking money out of the working people's pocket. There's not one of this room that hasn't done 45 and a 40 at one time or another, or 40 and a 30.
But we also know that if we speed, there's that potential of us getting a ticket too. So part of it's our responsibility to drive accordingly.
Well, yeah, but don't we have criminals in this state that they don't do anything about?
Yes, but it all starts with us. I mean, I know that if I'm driving 40 and a 30 and I get pulled over, it's gonna cost me money, and if I'm doing 40 when I know it's only 30,
Granted, but you have to have Big Brother watching you all day long.
well, that's far more reaching than this board can handle, unfortunately.
But I'll tell you, when you go through Bridgewater, I don't care what state the car in front of you is from, they dropped a 24 miles an hour. But
Since Jonas is here, it's because you're talking about the intersection and the parking and the risk of pulling into the intersection from this side. How did Pulte handle the Route 30 for stop signs and the stop? Is that something that the town did, or was that something the state ended up doing at the request of the town, or?
You mean the signage?
Yeah, because if you pull out here, there's a risk of getting wild. Everybody that pulls out there knows that from one side to the
You're
other.
referring to the double right-hand turns on Route 30 going into Pullman?
Yeah, there's stop signs on Route 30 right in town.
Was that a town thing? or-
No, that's the state of Vermont.
State of Vermont.
Agency of Transportation.
So that you didn't give up anything where you didn't maintain Route 30 or anything to put stop signs up, so they would put stop signs up if they saw a need for it.
Well, if it's on a class 1 highway or state highway, that's their responsibility. All the other stop signs are the responsibility of the municipality.
Kristen?
I would
Thank you.
imagine too, part of, I don't know anything myself about the sheriffs, but if we all remember a couple of months ago now, the folks who were in this room at the meeting at least were unified in approaching the state about the safety issues that coincided with the speeding along Route 30. And everybody was very supportive of that, so Julie and myself reached out to the state and they said we will be doing something about that. So I can't help but wonder if maybe this is an effort or a result of maybe what we asked for. So I think.
If I could just add that, one of the things that I noticed when I was campaigning a long time ago is that it's a high traffic area and it's difficult visibility. And, you know, we had, in Holden, we had applied for enhancement grants, which are now bike ped grants, and there's, whatever, for, what do you call the signage, not the signage, the speed, those speed signs, and they're very effective. I mean, I mean, if you set that back far enough, you know, whether it's solar or whether it's tied into electrical, whatever, you know, and it says this is the speed limit and this is your speed, people would slow down. Eventually they would catch on. But I noticed that people going home or going to work, you know, school buses were going crazy, but it does help. I mean, so there's that opportunity for the municipality to look at those grants. You know, even if you got 4 of those, you know, coming in, if you're talking about the village area, which I think you are, you know, I mean, there's expensive ones and there's the cheap ones too. Have all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, we had gotten a quote, right, on what's the...
3,700 a piece, or I think they were, but we didn't find any place that there was room in the budget to purchase any.
Well, you know, there are the grants for those things. You
Right.
don't have to get all 4 at once. I mean, they're 80% grant, 20% match. So
So if we could,
there is a November
awesome.
18th to 21st on it's called, this one's transportation improvement. But if you didn't take the webinar, that you're ineligible to apply this round, but, you know, it's just a fall.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I guess that's where we stand on that again. We need to talk to David about doing some more patrolling about
Could
that.
talk to Dave
Ricard.
about doing that, and then, but just unifying in what, you know, he can write warnings, but the state has already written warnings. So, you know, so we would just want to, I think, before we ask Dave to start writing things,
I just thought
we
the
want
other
to make sure we know what we're doing.
that you can get for free is ask the sheriff's office to loan you those boxes.
One of those feed boxes.
Yeah, and we did those for a period of time, and they were glad to lend them out. So it's just something to consider. You give it a try, see if it works.
See if the value's there.
Did Bolton hire the sheriff's department?
Well, we went through a years ago, we were with the sheriffs, and then the cops program in 1991 with the state police. They changed their billing things, which went sky high, so then they went back to the sheriffs. But we do have an active constable, you know, who operates on lots of different grants, and so. But right now, it's primarily the sheriff and the constable.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get on the record that the town of Pawlet had hired
Right.
was not contracting as some towns do, 20 hours, 30 hours, 40 hours, or whatever. Just so the public knew that, for
Right.
whatever reason.
Okay.
Can we do the same grants to fund the constable here?
Well, I'm sorry,
No.
I'm not recognizing you guys are talking, so.
Go ahead if you have input on that.
They weren't grants, well, actually, let me go back. The constable had applied for grants, they used to come to the town. Now those grants go to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff's office contracts with the municipality. But they were to be funded, excuse me, if you were specifically asking the constable to do that, you know, the sheriff's office will provide a grant that they get from the state. So you can look into it. Should have that conversation with the sheriff's department.
Okay.
Or some other local constable that's active in that. So they'll give you better information than I can.
Okay.
Thanks.
Do we,
These policy edits need to be in the executive session portion.
no, I'm talking about, you discussed it some at the last meeting and Ed and I weren't present at. My question to you, or I guess Julie, the people that are complaining about the sewer rates, are they paying their sewer bill in full? So they're not taking benefit of the payment that we offer, they're just paying.
Some people are mildly complaining and taking advantage of the 4 payment versus 2. Some people are more than mildly complaining and they paid their bill in full.
Yeah. Was that just the one isolated incident of any real harsh?
Yes.
Right. Some people are just grumbling. I've had a couple of people ask me about it, and when I explained it to them, I said, well, you know, you gotta value, we're backed up against the wall. There was really nothing we could do. So they were more understanding, you know, they didn't like paying that much for the sewer bill, but at least they understood what had occurred to make it jump so much.
So basically, the ones that are complaining are the ones that pretty much paid their bill in full.
Right.
Well, that was just one particular letter that we got at the last meeting. It was awesome.
It was very good.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when I brought that to the board, I just thought that would be an easier way to overcome the large increase that we put upon.
Some people are taking advantage of that though, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely good. Yeah, that one person was just lashing out with just, I think, because he wanted to. It really,
Okay,
it lacked a lot of merit.
all right. Move on.
Okay, so now we're down to personnel policy edits. Where did you guys come up with on that?
Well, so I went through personnel policy, all 20 some odd pages
Yeah.
of it, and I came to the conclusion that I am not the appropriate person to propose edits to
Okay.
it, nor do I feel that there need to be many changes to it at this time, aside from the part that Julie and I had already reworked, that we had already talked about, which
Okay.
was sick time and vacation time and that, because that's the
Okay.
only thing that is really causing any sort of turbulence and just confusion, really, more than turbulence. So that's the first thing. The second part is that I do believe that this is like my 6 years of corporate HR coming out. I think that all employees who are affected by the personnel policy, part-time or full-time, should sign the policy, because I think that in order for the policy to hold any weight, there needs to be an acknowledgement that the employees are aware of it, whether or not they are affected by all or not, or some. So I think that once we come to a conclusion of the readoption of the full thing, that should be something that we should have our list and have everybody sign it. Everybody has the right to sign it or not. They also have the right to work for the town or not. It's not a binding thing. It's just an acknowledgement of the fact that they're aware that it exists.
Okay.
And then the other thing, I do just want to, if you don't mind, just take 2 minutes just to read. I think that one section that's important is the general purpose of the policy, just so that we can know moving forward. Just so the general purpose, these policies shall be known and cited as the personnel policies and are hereby adopted pursuant to the provisions of Title 24 Vermont statutes annotated sections 1121 and 1122. These policies are enacted by the town of Pawlet in order to further the following goals. A, to provide a uniform system of personnel administration throughout the town. B, to ensure that recruitment, selection, placement, promotion, retention, and separation of town employees are based upon employees' qualifications and fitness and are in compliance with federal and state laws. C, to assist the town of Pawlet Select Board and their authorized representatives in the development of sound management practices and procedures and to make effective, consistent use of human resources throughout the town. D, to promote communication between the Select Board supervisors and employees. E, to ensure, protect, and clarify the rights and responsibilities of employees. And the town specifically reserves the right to repeal, modify, or amend these policies at any time with or without notice. None of these provisions shall be deemed to create a vested contractual right in any employee nor to limit the power of the Select Board to repeal or modify these rules. The policies are not to be interpreted as promises of specific treatment. So just I think it's important, just in general, for it's just more acknowledgement so that everybody knows that the purpose is basically to be a friend, not a foe. So that was my big thing that I wanted to highlight. So that being said, I think also it might behoove us to maybe, I was going back through old emails from Tim to try to gather more information about personnel stuff. And John Thrasher back in the day had taken a look at the policies. So my last kind of bit before I hand it over for more conversation is that I think once we decide on the vacation bit, we can bundle it all back together, and if you'd like, maybe we could send it to Meryl and just make sure that she thinks that the new amendments look good, just because as much experience and research as Julie and I did when we put it all together, it might just be nice to have the lawyer look at it, just so we make sure that our I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Everything's covered.
You might want to find a lawyer that practices in the employment practices that area of law, because a lot of the general lawyers are in that, and there are some specialists that you would probably hire on to do that work.
I think that we can see if Meryl.
We'll start with her.
First and foremost, we'll start with her, so that, because I don't think it's something we'll have to go to a lawyer often for.
Okay. So that's where we ended up with that. They're just these ones that we've worked through. So this is all stuff we really need to talk at executive session because of how it affects the employees and stuff like that.
So
and we're
basically-
going to have a session to discuss at the end of the meeting.
Yes.
Some of these issues anyway, so, right?
Correct.
So now, right, we're down, well, we got new business, right? Anything under new business? Okay, we got those 2 letters. Did you get, we got the one from Donovan. TJ said that everybody should jump on the bandwagon on the opiate one. Didn't I share that with you?
Yeah.
And then the one you shared with me about the school thing?
Yeah, so I announced that already, the school board, right? The school choice week.
The school choice thing, the proclamation or something like that.
Okay, so the proclamations department, dear the Honorable Beecher, that was my favorite part of
Yeah,
that.
that's what threw me.
The proclamations department respectfully requested that we consider joining city and county leaders across the country and officially recognizing January 26th through February 1st, 2020 as School Choice Week in Pawlet. Issuing a proclamation provides an opportunity to shine a positive spotlight on the K-12 education options available for children and families in Pawlet. Last year, more than 565 mayors and county leaders, along with 19 governors and unanimous United States Senate and the President issued proclamations recognizing National School Choice Week, which in 2020 will feature more than 50,000 events across America. National School Choice Week is entirely non-political and non-partisan, and we do not advocate for or against any legislation. Our goal is to simply raise awareness among parents of the public and non-public K-12 education options available to their children. Please let me know if you will be able to issue this proclamation and help us raise awareness of the importance of opportunity in education. I greatly appreciate your consideration. We have provided both a Word and PDF proclamation template on our website. So, and then,
Thanks.
That might be one of the things you might want to put on for town meeting thing, you know, that the people could vote on this themselves, that they're for or against.
Okay.
well, it's non-judicial, non-partisan.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not.
towns put stuff on all the time with that type of gibberish, so that, but what it does is it allows you people.
Could you read the letter from Mr. Donovan? As far as the opiate, we got that letter a while ago about the opiate thing, right? And TJ Donovan put out, I think the third email was finally the right one.
Dear Vermont mayors, town managers, and select board members, I am writing to address recent questions arising from a notice inviting Vermont cities and towns to join a negotiation class involving opioid-related litigation. We believe Vermont cities and towns should seriously consider joining the negotiation class because it provides a way to participate in recent efforts to settle ongoing litigation against the manufacturers, distributors, and large pharmacies that create the opioid epidemic. The negotiation class provides the opportunity to participate without having to file a lawsuit, hire attorneys, and incur additional attorney's fees. Vermont cities and towns will be automatically enrolled in the negotiation class unless they opt out by November 22nd, 2019. Answers to frequently asked questions related in the negotiation class can be found at website. Many of you are dealing with the enormous fallout from the opioid epidemic. The harm to our communities has been staggering. The opioid crisis has caused a devastating loss of life in Vermont. Families have been torn apart and many lives left in ruin. We have expended precious limited resources to care for victims in the aftermath of addiction. This includes medical treatment, mental health care, family services, first responders such as police and rescue, and so many others. It has been my #1 priority as Attorney General to hold accountable those who have caused the opioid epidemic. We have sued opioid manufacturer, Purdue Pharma, its owners, the Sackler family, and the pharmaceutical distributors to bring those responsible for this epidemic to justice. I anticipate more lawsuits will follow. It is our intention that recoveries from these lawsuits will be utilized to address the opioid crisis across Vermont, and I know many of Vermont cities and towns would also like to take part in these efforts. Many of you have been asked to take part in the negotiation class as part of the multi-district litigation, or MDL, in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio. This MDL has gathered thousands of cases brought by other cities and towns across the country. The MDL essentially is the federal court's way of consolidating all these cases before a single court to efficiently address all of these claims. The judge in the MDL authorized the creation of a negotiation class as a means for all cities and towns across the country to participate in the fruits of any settlement activity arising out of this court. You can participate without having to file your own case or hire your own attorneys. To see how monies might be divided across the country and in your particular community, you can go to www.opioidsnegotiationclass.info. You will automatically be included in this negotiation class unless you provide notice of your decision to opt out by November 22nd. It is my recommendation that Vermont cities and towns seriously consider participating in this negotiation class. As stated above, you can participate in the potential fruits of a settlement without having to file a lawsuit, hire attorneys, and most important, incur any additional attorney's fees and costs. I respect that each municipality will consider their individual needs and determine the best path for their community. Regardless how you may choose, the Vermont Attorney General's office will continue to seek justice for the entire state of Vermont and hold those accountable who created and profited from the opioid crisis. Sincerely, Thomas J. Donovan Jr., Vermont Attorney General.
Okay, so it sounds like we have to opt out.
If we don't, we're
If
automatically in.
We're
unless we
automatically
opt
in.
out.
So,
Don't opt out.
I think we do not opt out,
You might get some money out of it.
okay.
and it's
Is-
just for the good.
Is the board all right with going with this, or is there any comments or questions? So if we do nothing, then we're involved in this and life is good. So, hearing no opposition, we'll just go along with it. Okay, so we'll stay in the game. What about the proclamation? Do you want to just think about that and we'll talk about it in another week?
I'll add that to old business.
Yeah, bring that up in old business next, because we don't have time. Public comment. Does anybody have any public comment tonight? Dolores?
I went to a meeting on last Monday in regard to Vermont's 3-acre stormwater rule. I have prepared some paperwork for you to see because it's quite detailed. We have 2 businesses in our town that are targeted, and one is the Briar Hill Quarry, the other is the John Milton Williams Trust, that being Newmont Slate business. There are impact fees, which I think is the shocking point to, at this point, these are businesses. The Vermont, or the Rutland Agricultural Society has been targeted as well. The impact, what they call impact fees, are $25,000 per acre impervious for water quality volume, and also $25,000 per acre impervious for channel protection volume. I've also printed out an article from the Rutland Herald in which Senator Collimore asks for a delay in enforcing this. The presentation was filmed for PEGTV. I put the information on the side of a sheet if you want to read it. Personally, the 3 people who came from the state to present this did not have name tags. There were no microphones. I think that it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it was targeting businesses. The turnout was higher than they expected, as there were like maybe 15 chairs, maximum 20 set up, and they, brought more out. I think that there will be more to come, and I just wanted you to be aware of this. There are already 24 pages of businesses in the state in this draft. And that's it. I have some papers for, I have extras for some people in the audience if they wish. But I would say the PEGTV program is accessible, it's on demand, and although the entire meeting took about 2 hours, it might be interesting to people to find out what is coming down, and this is on businesses. Is it going to impact our private lands at a future point? And we need to be aware now, because if we're going to be prepared, or we are going to be able to do anything to help our local businesses, then we need to understand it. So I just have the papers for people. Thank you.
They just gave them a few hours notice also, didn't they, of this meeting?
Oh, was
There
it?
was just a few hours, that I believe, from what I heard.
Well, I know that we just found out on Sunday, and Jay was able to get the equipment from PEGTV, by calling them on Monday morning.
Also,
I found the people to be poorly prepared. I asked how much this project has already cost, and they were astounded. And I said, how much is it going to cost to implement? I mean, you may want to believe, and I mean, maybe you, I can't believe that like a business that has 5 acres could be looking at 125,000 in impact, quote unquote, impact fees. And then that could be doubled. So I really was unprepared to accept the fact that the people giving this presentation had so little information, especially on the financial side. Ed, you had a question?
Well, I think also it's businesses now, but anyone that has a roof shedding water down the road is going to be hit with this.
For blacktop driveway.
Yes, or blacktop driveway.
Well, wasn't it someplace in Seattle or someplace out west where someone was fined for catching the water off his roof to water plants? You know, some of this stuff's getting a little insane in my eyes. And I think that being aware of it and having, I'll ask Jay to have the PEGTV people, if you don't mind, have the PEGTV people put some information at the end of the Pawlet Select Board video, so that if people wanted to turn into, watch this video on demand on PEGTV, it's called Stormwater Runoff Hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any public comment tonight? Okay, we'll go into executive session. We have some labor agreements that we need to discuss.